Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly international hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And the story of the week is that Catherine O'Hara, famed actress, friend of combo hunters, an all-around fantastic comedian, has died. Did you ever meet Catherine O'Hara?
No, I didn't.
It's a big miss. It's a big miss.
A huge miss. My reputation sort of now has bled over into real life. So I found out Catherine O'Hara passed away when my TA came to my desk and said, "I know you like to sell autographs when someone dies." And she's like, Catherine O'Hara died, and shows me her phone. And I started lamenting to her how I not only have nothing to sell, I have nothing myself, period. And yeah, I never got her. I'm sure Greg or Lanza will remember better, because I think Greg has like some of these like celebrity facts tattooed on his forearm, because he's never foggy on any of them. But I believe there was a Broadway play somewhere in the years where I did Broadway, where Catherine was at least somewhat gettable. I don't know if she was a guarantee, because I think she was kind of tricky sometimes. A lot of people got her with persistence, but she was tricky. She was mobbed. She was not, she was a friend to combo hunters, but I don't think she was like a Robin Williams. I think she was a little trickier. But there was an opportunity I had on a regular basis on Broadway that I never got. I never took it. So I'm not pleased with this. I always had hope she would eventually do some sort of a con or an event on, one of those stage events, and nothing. So this sucks.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I had assumed you had her, based on the fact that pretty much most of the New York combo hunters do have her. So I was a little bit surprised. She had done one private signing maybe a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I was tempted to send in for it. That was, around the time when I was doing send-ins for signings, but I was like, she's not that old. She'll be around. And, you tempt the combo gods, and eventually they will find reasons to smite you. And we've all felt the sting of a whooping from the combo gods at some point or another. And I guess we're both feeling that with the death of Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, I guess my Home Alone print is going to largely just be the kids. I don't think I'll ever send it in with Mac already on it and drop all the cash on Pesci. That's not really my style. Same with Stern. So I guess when I finally get Buzz and all those titans of Hollywood, all the McAllister like siblings, when they eventually do a chiller again, I'll probably call it done.
It's terrible. Really, it's a glaring omission. Beetlejuice, Home Alone, terrible thing.
I think most things in my collection have glaring omissions.
Start a band, the glaring omissions. Anyhow. Also, you put on as a note here, Demond Wilson is also dead. You can speak to that better than I can, but he was booked for Chiller and then didn't show up, presumably because he was near death.
Typically you don't have laughter during the death segments, but yeah, I guess that Chiller cancellation due to health reasons was accurate, or he was smited by the con scheduling combo gods, and he pulled the sick card to go on vacation, and they killed him soon thereafter. But honestly, Demond Wilson dying is probably one of the better moves in the hobby, because I'm not getting Red Fox. I wanted to have someone from Sanford and Son, but you could argue that no one from Sanford and Son is just as good as having no Fred. So I guess I saved about $70 on this. But it goes to show when you have people in this age range, if you wanted Demond Wilson and you saw he was at Chiller before he canceled, if you were not planning on going to that show to get him, then you didn't want him that much, because these people here today, gone tomorrow, you never know how much time you got.
It's true. And as a follow-up from last week, the subject of last week's show was about celebrities or people who are giving you their autograph. Sometimes they're less than celebrities, deliberately messing up an item or deliberately writing in such a way that makes an item less desirable. And I believe it was the original poster, Jack. He had posted a kind of it was not his item. It was kind of an unbelievable a dual autograph of Crispin Glover and Michael J. Fox. And what's kind of funny about it is somehow Crispin Glover managed to escape our wrath last week, despite the fact that he's kind of the biggest offender.
Yeah, he's someone that thinks every single person's item is sort of going back to the higher ups, the muckety mucks that he has problems with in his insane mind, rather than just the person's binder or pile of prints on a shelf. If you're like me, and it's wild. He's definitely one of the superstars of that phenomenon. And I'm glad that as a follow-up, someone touched on him, because we should have had a entire sub-segment about him.
Well, yeah, so you got to check out the item on the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community, because the item itself is extraordinary. Crispin Glover, rather than just simply, it was just a normal looking 8x10, a black and white 8x10 of his character with Marty McFly. And I'm sure he signed 1 million of them in his life. And he decided to write this whole screed about how Bob Gale is a liar, and this whole just crazy thing. The person whose autograph it was apparently mailed it away then to a Michael J. Fox private signing. And Michael J. Fox, unprompted and unrequested, but did anyway, he kind of drew a little arrow to Glover's, again, insane rant and just wrote something like, "Wow, this is heavy." And it's just really funny. It's a really funny, one-of-a-kind, unique item. And honestly, I don't think it's ruined. In some ways, it's probably particularly valuable now.
I think that's a very important reality of the hobby. You're dealing with art. Autographs, in a sense, are like works of art. I mean, each one, unless you buy them from Staten Island, are kind of a unique creation from the person that is giving it to you. And I think that's the perfect example of making lemonade from a lemon. That's one of those things you get, and you kind of would say, "Oh crap, he ruined it," and you'd be pissed, and maybe you'd throw it out, or you'd sell it, or you'd start all over again to have it perfect. You're chasing perfection, and in not chasing the perfection and sort of rolling with whatever the guy got. Granted, that took a Michael J. Fox sized just cosmic swing to give that inscription, which kind of tied it all together. But still, you never know, and sometimes maybe. Like the old saying where, you make plans and God laughs. And it's the same in the hobby. You make plans and the combo gods laugh. And you kind of have to release what you expect and what you want. And sometimes make the best of what you get.
Yeah, it's really an awesome item. Would you buy something like that or want something like that in your collection?
Would I pay the price that it would probably go for? No. Would I want that in my collection? If it was somehow, if I saw a steal of a price on it, of course. That's hilarious.
Would you say just retail for it?
I'd pay retail for it. I would definitely pay retail for it. I actually like certain. I'm not someone that really chases like the odd and the unique, but I have a couple things in my collection that are kind of odd and unique. So I appreciate them when they sort of come my way organically.
I think it's just incredibly cool. I really, 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 really like it. I don't really it doesn't really fit into my collection being an 8x10, but I would want it. So I think
honestly,
it was really cool.
It's the best 8x10 I've ever seen that doesn't have nipples showing.
What about metallic 8x10s depicting Maria's nether regions?
Well, listen, those have nipples and vaginas.
Yeah,
so
true.
I mean, and we have a couple left on sale at Marked Out Collectibles on eBay. So those are the best.
Let's see what else we got here. We were all ready to go to our Dave Mustaine photo op at Looney Tunes in West Babylon. It was initially bumped a week due to a snowstorm, and then it was unceremoniously canceled this week. I cannot say I'm surprised. You know, these big events that Looney Tunes has, I think frequently what happens is someone at the music publisher or something at one of his management people, they get too excited and say yes to something, and then when it comes time to get someone on a plane, I think the story changes.
Yeah, and when you said we were ready, ready is probably a little bit of a stretch. I was going to do it because I couldn't smite the combo gods like that. I could not disrespect after promising the offering. I had to do it. And you were doing it and Kevin was doing it, so I would have been FOMO'd of someone I'll never listen to and never have listened to, because I'm just a sick person. But I had already decided I was going to go to work that day wearing a full-on like sweatsuit for warmth. I was not wearing jeans or anything nicer. It was going to be a sweatsuit to work, and I had the meta glasses.
You do have the ability to change your clothes, right? You know that.
I mean, I'll wear sweatsuits to work sometimes anyway, so it's not that shocking. But I was going to rock the whole... I was getting ready for warmth, and I was going to just record us on the line as deranged lunatics that are not fans, but were freezing in the cold to appease the combo gods. And I was going to drop a bunch of them on TikTok and hope that we would go viral, as we deserve to do, for being insane. So that was really the main goal. It was FOMO, combo gods, and going viral for being freaks. Those were my three real desires. And when I saw it was canceled, I felt great relief.
That's very funny. That's very fun. Like the concept of feeling relief at something like that. I was disappointed. I think if I really tried to like analyze and figure out the source of my disappointment, I think I'd have a hard time doing that, because I do think it's stupid to be disappointed about something I didn't actually want to go to. But I do feel disappointed, and and it's funny because when you sent me the video of the cancellation, it was the same guy in the exact same spot holding the same piece of paper. So I really thought you had just look at the same thumbnail. I think you sent the same video again. I'm serious. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And then I go and I watch it. I'm like, Jesus. And they said they were not going to reschedule it, probably because Mustaine was like, what? I'm not doing that. Get out of here.
Here's another one of those great chicken and the egg type questions that sort of exist in the marked out universe. What is more deranged? Me being relieved the event I didn't want to go to but was compelled to attend was canceled, or you being disappointed the event you really had no good reason to want to attend was canceled? I don't know, but...
Yeah, I agree with you. They're both very strange responses, I think. And make no mistake, I didn't really want to go, but at the same time, I'm just reporting the facts. I'm being honest. I felt I'm over it now, but I felt some disappointment. I was a little crestfallen.
Yeah, and listen, shout out to Looney Tunes. The refunds hit by the next day, at least for me, automatic.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's shout-worth worthy. They're kind of shout-out worthy. They're kind of like compelled by law to do that. So,
but you know how many shady garbage organizations are out there where you send us an email to get your refund, or if you do not respond in 72 hours, we're gonna just do something else. And that whole like contact us to get your refund is always just shadiness, because there's at least one or two people, probably more than that don't, and they never get it, and it's just they made some money that like coins in the seat cushions of the couch.
Yeah, I mean they use an auto pay processor, I think, so it just kind of happened. But no, I'm not ripping on them. It's just it's a low bar to praise someone for doing what they're required to do.
And that's the combo hunting world. It's all low bars.
That's true. What else do we have on here? There's a funny. Who posted the initial Allen Iverson story?
Me.
I don't remember. Did
Me.
you? So yeah. What? I mean, so why did you? Because I feel like I've read stories about Allen Iverson's generally like sort of off-putting public behavior in the past. So just to recap for those people who didn't see, apparently, as the story goes, and I verified like at least certain elements of the story are factually true. he was booked for a charity appearance in which he was supposed to have a meet and greet, or it was advertised as a meet and greet with children with cancer, that he was going to spend some time with their families. And it was in Melbourne, Australia. So somebody footed the bill on some level to get Allen Iverson over to Melbourne, Australia, to meet with a bunch of sick 12-year-olds. And I guess so the story was reported that he made it there, he made it to the building, and then once he got in the building, I guess he saw the kids with cancer and was like, I'm going to pass. And he just sat in his green room and never came out. And the kids never met him. And they were supposed to get autographs. And they didn't get that either. And they eventually, the event organizer was able to harangue him into taking photo ops with the kids. But you had a problem believing that the story was even true.
I've now since, it's been out there. I don't think it didn't go like super viral, but it definitely made its rounds. And I feel like if it was untrue in any real big way, that Iverson or someone from his team would have like debunked it, and they haven't. So at this point, I'm going to take this largely at face value. But to me, and we had a couple people that clapped. I don't want to say clap back. I don't know if there was any real anger or aggression in the response. It was just them sharing a counterpoint. I kind of found it funny that there were 12-year-olds, cancer-free or cancer-stricken, that would really be fans of Allen Iverson. And that's not a knock on Allen Iverson or the kids with cancer. It's just the idea that I grew up a massive Allen Iverson fan because I grew up in that time. He was everywhere. He was cool. His sneakers I liked. A lot of things about him were cool. But you're talking a guy whose career ended before these kids' lives began. And I know with YouTube, it's a different era, and people are able to be exposed to so many things differently than in my time. But it just seems strange. Like, thank God I wasn't in a predicament like this. But if I was, had some illness when I was 12, and someone said to me, "Oh, we got Moses Malone is coming," like, I wouldn't have been super excited, I don't think. Maybe I would have. But I feel like, it's like, what, where's Luka? Where's Giannis? Where's the people that I actually watch now? Who's that excited about Iverson? But maybe I'm looking at it from a perspective of, even when I was a kid, I met more, I guess, famous people than the average person. So if you have a chance to meet anyone that's even adjacently famous, and Iverson is definitely famous, I guess you would get excited about it. I don't know. I think
it's kind of a ripoff to a 12-year-old that has cancer. Like, to me, if I was a 12-year-old with cancer, I'd be expecting better than Allen Iverson. Granted, they are living in the penal colony of Australia. I understand that to some extent, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a little bit of a short shrift. If I'm a 12-year-old with cancer, at least you can get me a Cody Rhodes or something, who's I don't know. God, you're going to expose me big time here, but a current NBA player who's not, doesn't have to be the biggest star in the NBA, but somebody of some note today, or even in the past 15 years, but come on.
Yeah, I feel like Allen Iverson is more the level for like kids with diabetes. If you have,
at best,
yeah.
Hangnail. If I have a hangnail, I get to meet Allen Iverson. Come on.
I mean, make a wish. There should at least be, something a little flashier. And with all of these things, if you think that the parents with the sick kids are not also going to still project their own wants and desires on this meet and greet and sort of dump it onto the kid, you got another thing coming. So I bet you there's a lot of Australians my age that have sick kids that were pissed that they didn't get to meet Allen Iverson. Which, again, if
they're all sitting around thinking, I can finally extract some value from my kid getting diagnosed with cancer.
Well, I was going to make a comment that was a little more considerate and, I guess, phony, and be like, well, if they're dealing with all that, they deserve to meet Allen Iverson. But ultimately, you're right. This was the parents' Make-A-Wish instead of the kids, I think.
Good Lord. Anyway. I thought that story was just funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is some oh my God, Allen Iverson, there's a hidden fan club or something. It was very strange. You're gonna have to do. I don't think this is a story, but you're gonna have to explain it. You sent me these texts. Okay, I'm gonna go on a rant about how people communicate after you tell the story about Zonk's pop culture world, which is a thing that probably 3 people in the world know what it is. You, Salvatore, and the owner. I think those are the only 3 people on Earth who know what this is. So, feel free to explain.
All right, I'm going to go a little before this to sort of explain why this is even on my radar. This is a store in New Jersey. I don't love New Jersey. No offense to the New Jersey listeners out there. So I don't typically follow the crappy New Jersey stores. I mean, Zonk's was not going to have anyone I needed. They were not going to have Brock Lesnar. They were not going to have anything like that. So I didn't really care about Zonk. So I didn't follow Zonk's, but I was aware of them. And Vinny, marked out listener, I'm exposing him here. If he doesn't want to be exposed, I apologize. But he sent me a couple things with Zonks where, like, they had some signing going. I think it was Val Venus and someone else. They were brought in by Eric Sims and maybe Salvatore, some other guest that someone else brought in. I think it might have been it was Puppet Master Joe with Masha Slamovich. And some fans were making stupid comments about, it's just cancel con, that it was people with like crappy public personas and reputations. And they got I remember there was some post made, I think Vinny reacted to it. And the owner of Zonks messaged Vinny to explain to him how they didn't book these people and it was brought in by vendors. And anytime a store owner, a business owner is that thin skinned that they're jumping into your DMs to react to a literal reaction on Facebook, I automatically am paying attention to you more because you're a lunatic and you're an idiot and you shouldn't be in business at all if that's how thin-skinned you are. If you don't like someone's comment, you do the normal mature thing and you block them. You don't go fighting with them in PMs and DMs. But anyway, so that's what that's the type of person that they were and how they sort of ran business. And then another thing Vinny sent me that was just funny was they made some posts complaining about how basically the store doesn't get enough business, the signings don't get enough traffic, and how we have multiple thousand Facebook followers and we get 4 to 5 likes per post, and that's not enough. And if you guys aren't supporting the signings and the store, there's not going to be any more signings and there's not going to be a store. And all this, how are you going to be lamenting to your followers that your followers aren't doing enough for you? When you're the whole illusion that you're supposed to have, people are following you to help themselves because they're going to find these can't miss events and items and deals. And
these guys are opening a store as a hobby, not to attempt.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Filling a niche of demand. It's stupid.
And much again, like I said to Vinny, my apologies to Salvatore and company because I believe they deleted this now. But guess what, pal? If you post something juicy on Facebook, I'm going to screenshot it because I wanted to use it as content. So I have a screenshot. And apparently the drama popped off with Salvatore Promotions, and the owner messaged them with it was kind of not, which I'm sure you're going to touch on. I read this a bunch of times. I'm only about maybe 65% sure of what's happening. But what I could sort of ascertain from that one screenshot was that the owner kind of made a little dig at them about, well, you guys book all these nobody names. I'm going to reach out to a nobody of my own or something. And Salvatore rightly responded, his team, with basically you don't invest a ton of money to bring talent to a store, especially not a store like Zonk's Pop Culture World in the armpit of New Jersey. And I assume more than that went down, that they never posted, and apparently the Zonk's Pop Culture World blocked Salvatore. That's always a great strategy. I believe they were ongoing and being promoted events at the time because they then canceled all events. Salvatore said the same thing, and that due to lack of professionalism, they were done dealing with Zonks. And then Zonks made some posts that they were getting tables in to play Pokemon cards, and they were done with meet and greets. So essentially, what this means is just because a store has, they had some video up I saw, Ethan Page and Mark Sterling doing a shopping video. Just because you see a little bit of engagement on social media, and it seems like it's a real place that exists, and you can go and plan to attend events, it doesn't sort of disqualify it from being owned by someone who probably has an IQ as low as his Facebook post engagements, and you're not getting a smooth ride. You're basically at the mercy of this person's poverty, because like you said, they're running a store as a hobby, and then they're also just insane, and they're not really someone that you want to bring talent to. They wanted us to bring Vanity Project there after after what the hell is it, WrestleCon, which we rejected. I mean, why would we do that?
We should have tried to get a price.
No,
they wouldn't have paid it.
What I remember the offer they made was that we could come there at no cost, as if we were paying a cost to go to Zonk's Pop Culture World.
You know what? Okay, there's a few things here. Number one, imagine a world in which you're post-COVID, you're trying to make a living, and you're like, I know what I want to do. I want to open a brick and mortar store. Like right away, clearly this is someone who has a death wish, or is burning through an inheritance, or some other, they cashed in an insurance policy, some kind of thing, because there's just no way to open a new brick and mortar store in this time and make any money. And it's compounded by the fact that he's trying to open some kind of pop culture place in which the market is completely saturated. Compounding that is he's trying to have signings by just one mook after another. These people bringing in guests, are they going to generate traffic? That's a model that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then compounding that is they communicate on the internet and fight on the internet like lunatics. This is really like the greatest hits of failed small businesses adjacent to our hobby. We see them all the time. All the time. Someone starts a brick and mortar. They have dreams of candy canes, I guess. I don't know, sugar plums, and then this is what happens. And they wind up in debt. And they wind up with everyone hating them, and they always kind of frame it in terms of this having this community that people ought to want to save. But I mean, it's just hard for me to wrap my head around the idea of wanting to save a store. And get a job that contributes something to society. Come on, what are you doing?
I hate that narrative of like, please don't follow us to help us. Don't buy from us to save us. If you like what we have and you like the prices we have, buy it. If you don't like what we have, you don't like what we are selling, screw us, don't buy it, buy something else. Like you owe us nothing. You owe Zonks nothing. You owe nothing out there, anything. These are all retail institutions, whether virtual or brick and mortar, that you are using and essentially exploiting, until your needs are no longer being provided by that thing. And then what you do is you discard it and you forget about it and you move on to the next one. And it's up to the business to evolve and keeping it around, because you are making yourself invaluable to the person.
But there's it's the same thing as the people who are volunteering at cons. It's just people are nuts.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
this is a good example of that, I guess. But I mean, I guess I don't know. It's just so hard for me to even get worked up about these things. This is a song we've all heard before. Speaking of what began, we had some interesting board kind of hijinks this week, I guess you'd call it. Two posts randomly blew up on the board, and that turned into this people being weird, honestly. We've had some discussions about the kinds of riffraff that we will attract to the marked out autograph collecting community on Facebook by leaving it as a public group as opposed to making it a private group. And we've had, I would say, pretty spirited disagreements with people about leaving it a public group. And I guess what we experienced this week was a consequence of leaving it a public group. So we had a post. It was just an innocent thing. It was an autograph photo of Jeannie from ECW, Melissa Coates was her name.
But actually, hold on. Before you go too deep into this, the person that we're going to be talking about that ended up getting banned, they were a member of the group for months. So I don't think it actually was a consequence of it being public. This was not an interloper. This was one of us that was just a little off his rocker.
We're talking about two different.
No, your guy with Melissa Coates was a member. He was a member since November.
That's true too. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right.
Both were members. But go on.
So just way to throw a wrench into the whole narrative that I was spinning here. But anyway, so this woman, she lived the road lifestyle pretty hard. She was married to Sabu, who was obviously a stranger to clean living, right? I really don't know anything about her, but for the fact that but this guy was trying to identify whose autograph it was. People said it was hers. And then it was weird because people were running the autograph through ChatGPT to try. I think that's how it started. They were running the autograph through ChatGPT. This is, by the way, tangent. One of the other reasons why we are all doomed by our reliance on AI. So they ran the picture through ChatGPT. ChatGPT said it was Melissa Coates. Then other people asked ChatGPT who Melissa Coates was, or asked Gemini or whichever. And we had people posting who Melissa Coates was. And then it came out that Melissa Coates had died. Then it came out that Melissa Coates had died of COVID. And then, of course, whenever someone, says that or that comes up, then you have the absolute freaks who start coming out of the woodwork, talking about how, no, it wasn't really COVID. She died of a COVID vaccine and and this, and you'll do your research. That's how it always starts. And anyway, this guy, I forget his name, honestly.
Same.
He was on the board for a couple months. I keep saying on the board, but I don't know what else to say. And he was really aggressively pushing that people should believe that she had actually died from the COVID vaccine. And it was just totally inappropriate. Again, the thread was talking about, the question was whether, whose autograph it was. No one wants, it's the wrong forum. And I'm not going to lie. I took one look at the guy's profile. I became agitated for a variety of reasons. Number one, I found his appearance off-putting. I found his general lifestyle to be, I understand, let's put it this way, based on his lifestyle, why he sort of is currently dwelling in the fever swamps of American politics. He declares himself a self-proclaimed pastor, hailing from having been educated in the school of hard knocks. He's one of those types, and I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend I'm some preening intellectual.
Sounds like an early 90s WWF character.
Yeah. But in any case, he was really getting on my nerves. And then once he posted his thing, other people started, I don't know where these people come from, but then other strangers started replying, well, it was probably the vaccine. And I just can't allow my feed to be dominated by these freaks, because I have no patience for it. I'm interested in having a discussion with someone who was educated in the school of hard knocks, I guess. And so I just banned him, and it was a few others too I banned, and just the whole thread, deleted the whole thread. So, poor Melissa
you deleted
Coates.
The whole thread?
Well, no, not the whole post.
Oh, okay.
But the Vax part of the thread.
Yeah. That was a little funny, and
you had your own little fight.
Yeah, but before that, not that I was going to speak ill of the dead, but I always kind of rolled my eyes when Melissa Coates would be at a show. I would say she was kind of like Andrew Anderson with boobs, but Andrew Anderson himself has boobs. So I guess she's just like Andrew Anderson, period. To me, they were always these two people that you'd see at a con, and I guess they're valid, sort of, but I never quite knew what the hell for, and I never got them. And I actually just didn't have a chance to sort of make a joke about Melissa Coates. And luckily I didn't, because Melissa Coates' brother somehow discovered the post, and he was he made some whole tribute post to his sister, and he was responding to people's well wishes. It was a very strange type of thread. And I was glad I didn't say anything negative about her, because, why bother? And, the dead person's brother finding the post It just seems nicer that I didn't. But yes, beyond that, I had my own little dust up that evening.
What was it?
Well, in the Melissa Coates, I almost didn't even approve the Melissa Coates thing because we don't really approve like the authenticity checks. I typically don't do that unless it's prior to defining the rules. I would sometimes be a little wishy-washy if it was like a real, like regular that I felt like, they support us. Let's just put it through. But after that, and then other people's posts that I kept declining that evening, I finally made a rules post, which, I mean, most of it was self-explanatory. I imagine
we had resisted a rules post for a minute because doing rules really harkens back to like policing the marked out forum, which was, of course, a hilarious folly.
Mods! But in any case, on the rules post, I said about if you want authenticity checks to go post it in our, which isn't even really a sister group, but it kind of is, the DQ'd, the disqualified, the wrestling autograph authenticity group with Terrence and myself and Sean Jacoby and all the other esteemed moderators and administrators that sort of take up the panel of unpaid long-term people that give their opinions. And one guy who was, again, a member of the group, but he wasn't one that really, definitely never put $1 in our pocket, definitely never shared any sort of a question or anything with us that was any sort of a meaningful contributor to the group. And he made some comment about, that's disappointing to hear that you guys are affiliated with that stupid joke of a group. And I kind of wanted to boot him right then and there because how are you going to come on my rules post and talk trash about the group? Like that kind of pissed me off. But you said, whatever, let it go. So I let it go. And I responded trying to explain what the group is about. And it turned out his issue with the group was that Steph DeLander of TNA, I guess, fame, I'm air quoting the fame, and she was in NXT, famously known as Matt Cardona's Heater. She actually joined I think she's still a member of the disqualified group because some freak ripped her off or was trying to rip her off on gear. So she joined the group to sort of air her grievances with the freak. And apparently this guy thought that her profile was fake because he found the fan profile that's had the follow links and all that. This was not, her profile is not her actual name, her real one, for obvious reasons. So he said how the group is run in part by Terrence, who's a moron, because Terrence thinks the fake Steph DeLander profile is real. So then myself and several others, including Marcus and a bunch of other people, were like, it is real. That is Steph DeLander's profile. And we posted screenshots to the Major Pod group where she actively sells and engages with people in the group. And I think the guy finally realized he was wrong because I don't think he was that limited, but maybe he was. But he kept on just laugh reacting to everything. And then he started going to find my other posts in the group and was just laughing and trolling on all of them. And at that point, I banned him because, if you think you're going to troll me in my own group, you got another thing coming. I don't have too much power in this world as a marked out collectibles and marked out radio host, but I do have a little bit of completely useless power in the Facebook group. So if you're going to troll me in there, I will block you.
It was strange. It was very strange. I wondered what the end game was really, because the guy seemed to be wanting to participate in the group and then all of a sudden didn't. Whatever. I don't know. People are nuts, and this is the crowd that we voluntarily be a part of, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, what else is going on? Let's see. Well, we actually have some reports. So Chasen Graffs he met Mick Foley. Had a good experience, I thought. It looked good. His stuff looked good. What else? There was the Bill Murray meet and greet actually did occur, right? I know there was some questions about it because the people who bought the VIP never actually got the information or what time it was or where it was located, but it looked like everything went down okay. Got Josh. He got him. He tried to get an autograph, was denied swiftly. Though Brett Pasternak was able to get him on somehow. Did not reveal his ways, which is important in the marked out world. Do not reveal your ways. but he was able to get the Bill Murray to sign the show poster, which to me is one of those things where it's cool to get something, but then I would be like, what the hell? I have Bill Murray on this stupid show poster of this horrible band. So to me, it would be more of like mocker. It would be mocking me every time I looked at that poster.
I mean, Brett had the right idea. That's probably about as signable of an item for Bill Murray as you're going to get. I think Josh pulling out the Funko window, he may as well pulled out a photo of Bill Murray's grandmother, like spread eagle on the kitchen table. Like, I think he would have signed that at the same point he would have signed the like ripped off Funko window. A guy like Bill Murray is not hitting a Funko window. He's not hitting a blank. He's not hitting the grandmother picture of spread eagle on the table. He's just not. If it's a Bill Murray, you got a golf ball, a crappy tour poster because that's what he thinks is important because he's Bill Murray and he's deranged and self-important and thinks people care about his singing. You got to do something like that. So Brett definitely showed his savvy because that was the right item to go with, even if, like you said, it wouldn't be the ideal item you'd pick. But you got to know in a situation like that, if you want to get something, you can't be choosy. You got to be smart.
Absolutely. Whoa. Josh Black hit the Major Pod live event in Orlando. He got the Hardy Boys, among others. That was pretty cool. Richard Rose also, he went to Oaks. Man, Oaks is that convention center really gets around, doesn't it? But he hit the Oaks Convention Center for some motorsports names. That's fun because I mean we obviously don't really get too many posts about motorsports, so that it's nice to see some variety there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if there was going to be anywhere in a 500-mile radius that would have motorsport names, it would definitely be that Oaks Convention Center. And I bet you there was probably, at the exact same time, there was probably some plumbing convention. There was probably like a exotic bird fest and probably 2 or 3 other really weird things all going on simultaneously.
There was that one time we were at Oaks where there was the reptile convention. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, we probably should have walked through it. But I mean, at that point, when you're done with a con, you want to get the hell on the road and get home. So
always. Zach C, once again, continuing to increase his Seinfeld collection. He met Yankees great Bernie Williams and got Bernie Williams to sign an 8x10 of a still shot from his Seinfeld appearance and got the photo up as well.
Good job, Zach.
In terms of con news, the only real big piece of con news this week is kind of a big one. 90s Con has canceled its March show. So 90s Con has moved its entire its entire spring show to the fall, and they have just simply postponed the whole event until October. They claim that it's due to stars having to cancel, stars being invited to the Oscars. That was random.
I can't believe the Lawrence brothers are going to the Oscars.
I wonder who. But in any case, it's a big deal for a very big show like 90s Con to just up and cancel its whole event. That's a lot of money tied up in all that. So
yeah, I mean, I don't for a second believe 90s Con has any people really going to the Oscars. Although I would kind of pop for if they had like Lori Beth Dinsburg doing like an all that style like news report from the Oscars. That would actually be hilarious if someone got access for that. If you had like Keenan and the old all that people, it's not going to happen.
What do you mean? You're thinking it's done? That's it? It's over?
I don't want to say it's over, but I think they had some sort of an issue this time around. And I think they're just buying themselves, an extra 8 months to do it in October. But October is a tricky time. I mean, you got a lot of cons.
You do. It's true.
And what's the exact weekend in October? What's the exact weekend in October?
You're asking a lot from me right now.
I'm trying to see if it's directly. I don't know if it's the same weekend.
October 16, 17, and 18.
Let me check my calendar because every other con I'm doing is in my calendar. It's the week after Comic-Con, NYCC. So, I mean, theoretically, it's kind of an open weekend in this area, to my knowledge. At least it's nothing I'm doing. So, I mean, I guess it's a viable thing but it just seems weird. Like a 90s con, because citing the Oscars is one of the reasons. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical here. I certainly wouldn't put a ton of money.
Well, anyway.
Well, yeah, one of the reasons. But I mean, I wouldn't count on this happening. I think more likely than not it will happen, but I think there's just some general uncertainty in 90s con world, and they just pushed it back for whatever reason.
Wicked Ink Wednesday again this week. We had Jim showing off his Starship Troopers poster. So that Starship Troopers poster was very close to your marked out hosts because, as it turns out, Jim was the guy behind us in line for Amy Smart at Steel City Con. So nice seeing Jim again, and nice seeing him.
What's up, Jim?
Active on the Facebook group. Andrew posted a Sam Kinison cut. You just don't see much Kinison at all. I don't think I've ever seen any Kinison on our group, so it's always cool to see that. And Rockin' with Dan dusted off some slabbed, signed Beach Boys cards as well to round out Wicked Ink Wednesday.
You mean the king of whatnot, Rockin' with Dan, who is killing every platform he goes on with awesome stuff.
Did you promise him a plug on the podcast? Is that what happened?
I got to give him a plug every time I talk about him because he is in fact rocking with Dan, and he is hung like a racehorse.
I would ask how you know, but I'm just gonna make an assumption. I'm gonna make an assumption about how you know and move on.
Yes.
Photo with Friday. Ira dusted off a random shot in New York City with Anthony Edwards, who was at one point a big star and then just vanished. But still a great shot. Ed, I don't recall ever seeing Ed before, and then Ed goes ahead and posts a picture of himself with Casey Kasem at the 86 Emmys. And I don't know where that comes from, but I loved it. I was going crazy. That was super cool. Apparently he worked that event. To think that Ed was an adult working that event in 86. I was in kindergarten in 86. So, it's pretty cool to see.
Don't age shame Ed.
I wasn't. No, the opposite. I was really I was impressed by it all. It was very cool. And then what really made me laugh was as I'm scrolling down the comments, and I know the comment order is randomized because Facebook does whatever it wants. But on my feed anyway, right underneath the Casey Kasem photo was Todd's photo with Yerple the clown. And so only on Marked Out will you get a photo with Casey Kasem right next to a photo with Yerple, and no one bats an eye.
As it should be.
So in con news, Chiller has added D. Wallace from E.T. and Don Fry. Those are two great names for me. I don't have either one. Actually, Don Fry is kind of a funny one because I honestly just said I don't have him, but I don't remember. And in fact, I know I had a bunch of items for Don Fry years and years ago, but when he didn't get added to any cons, I sold them all. So now I'm really this is terrible to say, but I have to really
the combo gods by selling stuff. You can't
I have to really dig through and see if I ever got a photo with him. I definitely don't have his figures anymore, but at one point I had the expensive, really nice Don Fry figures, so that kind of stinks. But here we are. They also added the international household name Dash Mihawk, who you had a disproportionately positive reaction to his being announced.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how you pronounce the name. Dash, I'm confident is Dash, but I mean Mihawk, I'm not sure. But he is the brother of Ray Donovan. He was the one, if you watched Ray Donovan, he was probably the more multifaceted and interesting character. He had a whole thing. He was a victim of an assault by a priest. He was a little different in how he saw the world, and it was always sort of fascinating to see what he was up to on the show. And I'm a huge Ray Donovan fan. I have an 11x14 that I got Liev to sign in that parking lot of that spot that shall remain nameless, where he told me that he basically never signs Ray Donovan and how fortunate I was that he was signing it for me right then and there. And I was always up in the air if I was going to add more people or leave it alone. And as I typically do, because I am a powerless junkie for combos and I just spend money like crazy, once I have an opportunity to add some real people from this show to it, I'm ready to go. So I'm getting him. I hope they add more of the Ray Donovan people, although I'm not really counting on it. But any Ray Donovan people, I am there for. And I also need D. Wallace. D. Wallace is kind of like a Robert Patrick for me, where I kind of planned to get her. I don't know if you remember this, but she was 2 tables away from us on Sunday when they moved, remember they moved Olivia from the one corner of the room to the other?
I was so tunnel vision at that point that I don't.
Yeah, well, that Sunday they sort of moved us on the inner front corner of the room. And on that same wall was Dee Wallace. And I planned on getting her, and I don't know why I didn't get her, much like I didn't get Robert Patrick those times. I didn't. And I'm no super fan of Dee Wallace by any means, but she's been in iconic franchises. Actually, not franchises. She's been in iconic films. And I will get her because, as our opening segment shows, you never know when the valid name you didn't get will die.
I know. Chill Out added some cool boxing names, Jerry Cooney and Iran Barkley. I'll have to actually tell my dad about those. I had to bring my dad to a big event that time when they brought in Vito Antuofermo. So we'll see what goes on with that. They added Andy Black from Black Veil Bride. So I guess he's doing cons now because he also got he also got added to Rhode Island Comic Con.
Should I know who he is?
Black Veil Brides. They're sort of a heavy band, heavy rock band. I would say they never pierced what I would call. They never made it off the alternative charts. They were an alternative chart kind of band. So I know who they are. I wouldn't expect you to know who they are, but then again, that'll be the topic of our main topic of the show anyway. So we'll get there when we get there. And finally, Steel City added Don Mancini. Let's go, Steel City. Let's start going for cooking for real at this point. Let's go. Monster Mania added 2 more It Kids from Welcome to Derry. They added Blake Cameron James and Matilda Lawler. This lineup, this reunion is. I don't know if you call it a reunion. I mean, the show just ended basically the first season, but what an extraordinary lineup. If you want to get all the It Kids, they're all going to be in one spot. And so with that, I am in for Monster Mania officially. I got a really, really, really cool Welcome to Derry poster from the WB shop. It's like a custom. That's not custom. I mean, it's kind of a unique print. It's a poster of the movie theater where the show I don't want to spoil it, but where a key moment from the first episode occurs, and I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I was hoping they would sort of complete the kids, and they did, and it's sick. It's really, really sick, and I'm sure that this will get a reaction out of you, which is not my intention. But I think I may be buying the exact same poster you bought.
See, this is the thing I don't understand the logic of that. So. Because you had originally sent me a design, right? And you were happy with that design. You thought the design was very signable. My instinct was, I'll take one too. And then my other thought was, well, wait a second. Let me see if there's something else that I can get. Number one, to be a little bit more unique, but also to get something official. And then somehow now you're getting the same exact print that I'm getting.
Well, it's the exact same rationale you had. I would like, well, first off, I don't know for sure if our printer is a little weird, which I think we actually have a question pertaining to this, which we don't have much of a great answer for that question. So don't be like hanging on for the answer to that one. But our printer is a little weird with like what it will print when it's not wrestling. We've gotten before that, you have to prove, which honestly, that pisses me off more than anything else. Can you prove that you own this Star Trek poster? And like, I can't, and I can't. So just tell me, hey, moron, you don't own this print. This print, I can't make it. Don't play this game of can you prove if you're George Lucas? Like, so that kind of pisses me off. So I always hate to deal with printing things from big studios. So I had the same thought as you. If I could get something official that I didn't have to worry about them approving, why not? And initially, I didn't love it. Because it's a little more niche, a little more out there. It doesn't scream in your face, welcome to Derry. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, it's so damn signable. The white, the red, all of that. All you would need is like a black deco fine, or a super Sharpie or whatever. And it's easy. You don't have to worry about things really drying. It's good. You don't have to worry about switching colors. So yeah, I think I might be going in the same direction as you, and I understand your feeling because it definitely changes your uniqueness. But I mean, if you're buying it from the WB shop, how unique are you going to be?
Well, I just don't think we're going to see a lot of those out there. We're going to, because at Monster Mania you see mostly 8x10s, you see mostly replica posters. The studio original is a little bit pricey, and so I do think it's not going to be terribly common.
What size are you going with?
I'm no longer revealing any of that information. Actually, wow. Well, you're gonna. It's unbelievable. This ain't having the same thing. It's. I don't know, man. I don't.
Oh, you're definitely doing 24x36.
I just don't understand why you'd want the same one. Why do you want the same one? But I'm being a little bit shticky here because I care about this less than I care about the cart. Because at the end of the day,
find me another original poster, and perhaps I'll like that one better.
I was the one who found it.
You didn't even send me the link, which was kind of rude, by the way.
No, where did you get it? You said, "Where did you?" I told you where I got it because it's sold out on the HBO store, and I told you where I got it. So no, I did actually. I did tell you I found it, and I told you where I got it. And you initially poo-pooed that poster.
I did, but Star actually likes it, and so you gotta keep it.
Now I'm blaming Star. Is that what's happening?
I'm blaming Star because if she likes it already, it makes it easier for me to convince her to put it on the wall.
You're not putting it on the wall. It's not going on the wall. It's never. It's never going on the wall. Never. And there are very few things that I will say never about that. There's no chance.
So you're saying it's not wall worthy?
So yeah, you guys will see us at Monster Mania carrying the same exact poster around
in the same exact cart.
I'm probably not going to bring the cart, to be honest. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today, markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Our friends at Big Time Wrestling are putting on a huge wrestling con and show on Saturday, March 14th at the OUC Shoemaker Center in Chillicothe, Ohio. Talent such as DDP, Jerry Lawler, Mickey James, The Great Sasuke, Stan Hansen, and more will be appearing, and tickets are available at WCPBTWTIX.com. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, and leave a rating and or a review. You can leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on Spotify or comments on individual episodes on Spotify, or you can leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment on any episode on YouTube. All comments, all ratings are appreciated. Also, Marked Out Collectibles is running a special sale on autographed Ari Lehman Jason Funko Pops with a sketch of a drowning Jason for $50 shipped. Nice and easy. It's you don't see these around at that price. We sell them. If you want whatever we don't sell now, we're just gonna hold them to Halloween and sell them $90 a piece. Also, we're selling Vanity Project 11x14s. We have a couple left of those.
Wait, by Vanity Project, do you mean that group with Jackson Drake, who's going to be competing for the NXT World Title in the ladder match?
Yes, I am. And so for $50, you can get 11x14 with 5 members of the Vanity Project on it. The 3 who are currently WWE superstars, Jackson Drake, Brad Baylor, and Ricky Smokes. And you can also get AEW superstar Zeta Steele is on there. And Bryce Donovan is on there as well, who we expect he'll end up somewhere. That original Vanity Project, all 5. That no one else has that shot signed. We're the only ones who have the shot. And we're the only ones who have that signature. $50. You must do an email or a DM to get that price. Same for the Jason Funko. Time is running out, and also stock is limited. I added this because we talked about it. We talked about doing it on the last week on the show, and we forgot to put it on the timer sheet, so I'm going to put it on here now. Our marked out vocabulary segment. So I guess each episode we will have a different word we briefly talk about and explain. So the word of the week is combo. This is a word that it means what it sounds like, but there's additional layers of subtextual meaning in the marked out autograph collecting community as well. So for the lay people out there, what is a combo?
A combo at its most simplistic would be when you walk up to a convention table at a con, obviously if it's a convention table, and you would purchase you would get a photo op and an autograph. The good, more friendly priced talent will have right on their price sign the word combo, which means if you say, let's say it's $50 autograph, $50 photo op, it wouldn't be $100 combo. It would be 90 or 80 or whatever. It would be some sort of a discount for getting both. The worst guests out there who are more expensive will not offer you a combo price. But that is a combo. And then, of course, combos will sometimes be used in a different way. Like for example, if you're out in the wild and let's say you're stalking someone at a theater or an airport, you could sometimes say you're combo hunting. And even though there is no, unless you're chasing after the Wu-Tang Clan, there's no paying involved when it comes to that wild autograph chasing. But it is the same concept. You are chasing autographs and photo ops. And let's be perfectly honest, I have said I'm combo hunting even when I was photo op only and selfie only, and there was no combos to be had. I would still say I was combo hunting because that is just what all the cool kids on Marked Out were doing.
And just to be clear, there was this term, combo, con term, that kind of got exported to street meeting, and who was the person most directly responsible for the mingling of those terms?
I'm pretty sure it was Jerry.
No, definitely not.
I just said that to get a rise out of the person it actually is. It was not Jerry.
This is classic Steve. This is how Steve's influence is legendary. Steve's influence has permeated all of our lives in this hobby.
The same way his body odor has permeated our noses.
Absolutely. So this is all Steve. Steve would refer to his exploits on the street as combo hunting, and then Steve coined the combo gods, and then it just all went out downhill from there, one could say. So a combo, again, this is not a direct literal translation, but it is sort of linked to the practice of buying autographs and photo ops at a convention. I hope that definition makes sense. Maybe perhaps.
And then next week we'll cover what is a gumbo. Is it gumbos?
I think, leave your feedback on this. Is this something we should continue to do? I think it's really funny, the absurd sort of domain-specific lingo that we use. But anyway, the topic of the show today, I think it stems from kind of a disagreement we had a couple of days ago. That wasn't too long ago, actually. So we noticed we left out one of the big announcements this week from Chill Out Con. That Chill Out Con announced that Brooke Shields is one of their headliners, and my response was, "Oh my God, this is one of the biggest con guests ever, perhaps the biggest con guest ever." And you reacted very negatively to that characterization. You said she was a great ad, that no one has her. Well, I mean, just the people on the street, that she's never done anything before, and it was a great ad, but by no means the best ever. So I think this was a really interesting conversation, because to me, it's actually hard for me how you don't see Brooke Shields as arguably the biggest con guest ever.
All right, well, let's lay the facts out there first. Tom Unger, Big Event New York, he never claimed this was the biggest con guest ever. He claimed it was the biggest.
I don't give a shit what he claims. This is me claiming it. I
understand.
Care about him.
I want to lay this out there accurately, though. Tom claimed it was the biggest con guest he has ever booked. That was where I took I don't want to say I took issue with it, but I think he's booked some pretty damn big guests. I don't know if I would put Brooke Shields, even though she's rare on a con level, super rare, and definitely significant and household name, all that. I don't know if I would put her over Gene Simmons and Alec Baldwin from the last one. Those are huge names. So that was the basis of my issue, and I don't really mean issue, but I don't know with all the big names Big Event has booked. I don't know if I would say this is the biggest. And you went and took it to a whole nother level, and you said not only is it the biggest name they booked, it may be the biggest name anyone has booked for a con.
I find it I find it hard to not at least think that that's true. I mean, first of all, Gene Simmons is more or less a niche star, right? I mean, Kiss is a niche band. They flirted with mainstream success. He has mainstream recognition, but they flirted with mainstream success. They have their thing going. They have their grift. But Gene Simmons is, first of all, is not a household name around the world. And second of all, most people I don't think could pick him out of a lineup unless he's in gimmick, and that's that. Alec Baldwin is a well-regarded actor. He's had a lot of important roles.
He killed somebody and was on the national news for months.
But it's not an international icon. He just isn't. He's just not an international icon. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the standard by which you judge stardom. I know we had this whole debate about A-list or B-list or whatever, but my sort of analogy was, it's almost like if when she was alive, if someone booked Princess Diana for a con, or if someone booked Mother Teresa for a con, somebody who sort of transcends any genre of media, any type of media, any individual performance. The thing I said to you the other day was Brooke Shields. Most people probably couldn't name a single damn movie she was in, but people understand the reference when you talk about Brooke Shields. So I'm just flabbergasted that this is that this is even debatable, really.
I think it all just comes down to what your definition is, which goes back to what we discussed recently about what your definition of stardom is. I think if you go in 2026 standards, you could probably say that Kim Kardashian is a bigger star than just about anyone. Robert De Niro or Kim Kardashian, it's going to be Kim Kardashian.
So let's just say hypothetically, let's say Kim Kardashian was booked at a con to do combos tomorrow. Would it be reasonable to say that's the biggest con booking of all time? Just say yes and get over with. Because it is. It's a reasonable thing to say. It's certainly up there. It's in the conversation.
I would still sort of go back to the arguments of when Arnold and Sly and these different people that have done cons, that they would be just as sort of synonymous with just recognition and being known, but for an actual more important and culturally significant reason.
What important and culturally significant? Get out of here. Oh my God. I think those two are icons similarly. I do. But I would still say she is. They're close. They're close, but I still say she's more. She's more of a kind of, I don't know, just this cultural icon. It's hard to put into words why.
But really, then I asked you in 2026, we're talking 40 years really since I would say she was at her peak. What is the metric scale that we're still measuring her impact? Her Instagram followers are over 1 million, but it's not to a level of Justin Bieber. Which I understand. No, but why.
I'll give you right, but it's even my counter to that was even someone like me, where I go, oh my God, they have Brooke Shields. That's unbelievable. I am following her on Instagram, and I think that the point is that her Q rating, her recognizability is so off the charts that she's, as I hate to use this, but as ChatGPT helped put into words, she's more of a symbol than she even is as a person. She's just, I don't know. Yeah, she's just sort of an extraordinary, important media figure that I think her draw is going to shock.
Well, here's my chance. I don't have to age shame one of our great listeners like you did to feel young. But I'm going to sort of feel young now by saying that I think I just sort of missed her peak. So I don't think I think it's one of those things you sort of had to be there to sort of, to know it. I recognize she's an extraordinary ad. I will be getting her, despite not really being a fan of more than the middle. I liked her handful of episodes as the redneck hillbilly neighbor on the middle. She was really good in that. That's enough for me to get the photo up. Also, a combo god offering understanding that Tom did something truly incredible by getting a name. Even if I don't think she's bigger than Alec Baldwin, she's never done anything on a con level. For Tom to be the first person to get her is not surprising because it's kind of what he does, but it's a tremendous feather in his cap because that's, I imagine, all the big cons you could think of have made overtures her way to get her to their event. This is big. Anyone when last Chill Out Chiller, people were arguing which show was bigger. Chill Out is not even in the same cul-de-sac as Chiller. Chiller is a starter home somewhere compared to this, which is a whole new beast. This Brooke Shields puts this show on the map in a way that I don't think Gene Simmons or Alec Baldwin did because they've been around before. The fact that he got someone of this magnitude, even again, my point remaining from my personal age and experience, to me, this puts Chill Out rising closer towards the titans of the convention world and a little further from some of the more niche cons.
I mean, I don't care about any of that. I cannot believe that they have I'm just stunned that a star of this. This is raising con guest potential to. They can get, if Brooke Shields would do a con that anybody could. It's just incredible to me. So
I'm definitely impressed. I hope the line is wrapped around the buildings 10 times over. I think she'll do really well. I just, my argument was that I think, Tom has done such amazing crap in the past with who he's booked. I don't know if this is the biggest, but I hear your argument and I'm ready to walk in and see a line unlike any other he's ever had. And I'll say you're completely right.
I know. There were a couple listener questions that were interesting. Let's talk about James's question about the best place to get photos printed. So to be perfectly honest, we are not going to give that information out for the simple reason that when a place is willing to print photos that they're pretty sure the customer does not have the license for or does not have ownership for, they're risking getting sued. And so there have been places in the past that have been shut down completely. They've gone out of business because they were just, they were willing to print anything and they got in trouble. So right now, our printer is a little finicky if it comes to something very, 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 very obvious like Star Wars or Star Trek or Disney, but we are able to get a lot of stuff printed, and so we're just not willing to blow them up anymore.
Yeah, nothing to add. That's basically it.
Jason asked, can you discuss the preference or expertise of getting paint pens when getting autos? Bubbles versus cards. I'm a Hasbro guy and love Posca, but I know Posca is not good for bubbles. Sorry if I missed this and you already did it. We actually did a whole episode on pens, but I can talk about pens really more than any sane person can talk about pens. So what are your thoughts on all this? I've never gotten Hasbro signed, but is Posca the way?
Posca is the way for Hasbro. But I've read this question a couple times, and I'm pretty sure Jason means he's sort of talking about two different concepts here. But I want to just make sure that I'm on the same page. He says, I'm a Hasbro guy, and I love Posca, but I know Posca is not good for bubbles. I hope he's not getting the actual bubble signed of the Hasbro. I'm going to assume he means for figures that you don't have cardboard, you have to sign on the window. That's what I'm hoping. So my first bit of advice is always use a Posca on a Hasbro. And when you use a Posca on a Hasbro, or I wouldn't care what you use, but hell, if you want to use a feather pen dipped in blood, don't ever have a Hasbro signed on the bubble. It's got to be on the card. But yes, Posca is the way, without question, without hesitation, without fail. I mean, the only thing I'll hear otherwise is if, let's say, you have an existing collection and you want to match sort of the time period, and you would want to have black or silver Sharpie to sort of match what people were getting in the 90s. But if you're like me and you're starting kind of late in the game, Posca. And if you're using, if you're getting different figures signed with a bubble, I like the Sharpie medium tip. Even the new recipe that is problematic, I've used it before. It works good. Deco is great in certain colors, but sometimes Deco looks a little less smooth on like figure windows than Sharpie.
What colors have you used with the new Sharpie recipe? Because I've heard that yellow is problematic for the new Sharpie recipe.
White and light blue.
You haven't even used the yellow.
No.
Yeah, so it's yellow because a lot of people do all their Funkos in yellow and their figures in yellow, and people were complaining about the yellow. So it's possible we never even got to experience that. It depends on what you're looking. The bottom line is it depends on what you're getting signed. Fun tip that I discovered when you're doing your deco fine point metallics, silver is wonderful. Gold, very, very finicky. Okay, I've had gold fail on 2 very high profile. I had bronze fail on a high profile item. Devastating, actually. Silver, the silver fail, Dana?
Absolutely not. It probably got old Olivia high till she died.
Yes, the silver doesn't fail. The gold and copper are a little bit scary. When they are, like when you do I like buying the extra premium with the extra metal flakes in there. When it works, there's nothing like it. It's the best. But I've had the gold fail twice, and the silver hasn't failed ever.
What do you think? What do you think? What's the catalyst for the gold failing? Is it completely just random? Is it like age?
I think it's the surface of the item. It's much more.
What kind of surface did you find that made it?
One of them was a poster print that was a little bit on the glossier, flimsier side. The gold would just not adhere to the poster, just wouldn't. And the other was my Dominic Mysterio print. It would not adhere to it. It was the metallic. It was too glossy. It wouldn't adhere to it. I don't know why. So meanwhile, silver will adhere to anything. So it's very frustrating. Anyway, honestly, then what's funny was Dom. He used my expensive gold fine tip. It was garbage. Didn't work at all. So he just grabbed his cheap fat medium point gold, the cheap one, not the metallic. Because they have a gold that's non-metallic and the gold metallic, like the flat gold, and he just used the flat gold and just drew over it. You can't even see. You can't even tell he did it. But it was annoying. And poor Heather Matarazzo, when she was using my gold premium on the Welcome to the Dollhouse print, she was really struggling with it. She eventually got it to kind of finish, but it was rough. And also, I was looking at a third item, and Seth Gilliam signing my Starship Troopers flag. It failed. Remember, it failed at what show was that? The Contropolis in New Jersey. It failed.
Well, that flag at this point was a complete disaster for you, right? Hasn't it like sort of not aged well?
It was perfect.
I thought you said they started like shaking, that they like with like rubbing off or something.
No, the Seth Gilliam ink started to bleed. That's it.
It was only that one. The rest are good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's frustrating. So I would say for metallics, fine point, deco, silver, you can't go wrong. For figure bubbles, there's all kinds of. There are people who will swear by Posca on those because it looks the best. It's the brightest. And if you're willing to put it into a protector right away and cross your fingers, look, I'm not gonna lie. When I sent my stuff away to Robert Englund, he signed all my stuff in Posca. He signed it. It went into a protector. It's sitting in a protector now. Is it gonna last forever? I don't know. Who knows? But that's the way it is. So, and we can talk pens all day. As a general rule, there are other people who love Molotov. Have you used Molotov?
I have, and there's actually a new one, which I don't think it's Molotov, but there's a new one I was playing with the other night at Golden Ring Brian's house. I'm trying to find a picture of the pen right now. That was awesome. Yeah, keep talking. I don't see the pen. I think I don't have it.
What is the context of playing with a pen in someone's house?
I was testing the pen. I left some stuff for Brutus Beefcake. Here it is. It's one for all. It's acrylic. So
it's water-based.
Yeah, Molotov. Wait. Yeah, but it looks really good. I don't think it would.
Yeah, the water-based look great. It's just, ask 10 different people their pen preferences, you'll get 10 different answers. Everyone has, it's really something that you rely on, kind of your individual experiences. Some people swear by regular blue or black Sharpie. Other people will show you where black Sharpie starts to turn yellow, or there's all kinds of stories about this stuff, and all kinds of experiences, and there's so many variables, right? The manufacturing run of the marker matters. The paper texture matters. The exposure to elements matters. The pressure that the signer uses matters. It all matters. So I'm not even going to attempt to like say there's a one size fits all or a catch-all kind of explanation for what pen to use.
I actually didn't realize this was water-based. I thought I hadn't read the acrylic part. I thought it was oil. So that's why I was more impressed by it. I thought it was oil, but had that kind of like just boldness. But if it's just a Posca alternative, it's a little less extraordinary. It kind of just looked like a Posca. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Poscas are great.
Yeah.
Poscas are great. They dry real fast. We use them in all the private signings with prints. They're great, but they flake. So you got to be careful.
But I think I have to try it for myself. But I think from what Brian was telling me, he finds it flakes less on plastic than Posca. But I mean, it's still acrylic, and you still have that. You got to make that choice of, are you confident that this is going to last a lifetime on plastic? I wouldn't. But I'm going to get a couple of these for myself to really just like try them in the leisure of my home and try it on different surfaces.
I'm not sure I have 100% faith in Brian as a scientist, so I would do my own testing with all that. And the final question of the week from Dave. This is a good one. It kind of sparked some conversation on Facebook. How long until meta glasses are banned from the celebrity areas at cons? They're starting to catch on. We've talked about it on the show. There's a question, and then he brings up legality and two-party consent. So, I mean, I want to just kind of dismiss the two-party consent thing right away. There is no legality question at a con, because in order for any state that is a two-party consent state, the rule is two-party consent applies when there's an expectation of privacy, and there's no expectation of privacy in public or at a con. It's just not a thing. So that's just, if anyone was worried about their meta glasses and using them in public, that's not an issue. Obviously, you can't use them on someone in the bathroom because there's an expectation of privacy in the bathroom, right? So anyway, but let's talk about the bigger issue about whether meta glasses will be banned from celebrity areas at cons. You're the meta guy. I mean, I have them too. I use them. I like them. But this is, a big part of your day is thinking about these things. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think they will. I think the photo op companies are going to probably. We've seen it in real time. The photo op companies start getting a little more suspicious of the glasses. They have the staff watching for the blinking light a little bit more. In all honesty, unless you're actually going to wear the glasses for the duration of the photo op, you're not getting anything really good anyway. It's a quick like fist bump, and then the glasses are ripped off your face. So even if they would get a little more picky and stop letting you wear the glasses into the like booth, what's the loss? Ultimately, your meta glasses, for example, are your glasses. Those are your prescription lens in those frames. You can't. Are you going to start banning at a table and tell people with glasses you can't wear glasses? Even if now the celebrity you're paying to meet is a mere blur in front of you and you can't see properly, you can't. You could, if you're willing, if you're like me and you cover the blinking light, especially, because then they can just say, well, stop recording. But if you're willing to just refuse to take them off, what are they going to do? I don't see how they could really ban them. But I mean, for a lot of people that aren't deranged, they would probably just fold and cave and say, oh, I'll take them off. In which case, yes, they'll probably sort of, limit their use a little bit. But someone like me, I think, will be unaffected.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see definitely at least a lot of questioning about it, right? Because it went from no one even recognizing what they were to Robert Patrick or whoever, De La Soul, right? Did De La Soul recognize what they were?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it went from nobody to everyone. And, whenever a technological item becomes ubiquitous, and they pretty much have, I mean, just look at how much footage you see on TikTok and Instagram Reels now that is taken from these types of glasses. It's become so common that you see it everywhere. So I just don't think that on one hand you can't ban them because again they're people's glasses. So I don't think you're going to see them banned. You'll start to see signs saying that recording with them is not allowed. You'll start seeing people ask, and perhaps there's new social norms that will emerge around them. But I don't think we're going to see a banning.
No, and the truly depraved lunatic people in society like me which I still actually, after I replaced the glasses, I still haven't made a new meta condom that blocks the flashing light. So right now, whenever I record, it's sort of out there for the world to see. But come con season, I will be recording in secret again because who has time for that? I certainly don't. Marked out does not really deal in combo consent. That actually sounds a lot less rapey than how I usually say it. So that's the new way of saying it. Combo consent. That actually might be yeah, it's a little better. We don't have to edit that one out. Apparently, from what Dave, I actually responded. It's rare I respond to a question even in part in actual text form. I want to save it for the show, but I liked the question so much I did. And apparently, there's like off-brand Meta Glass style products out there that don't even have a flashing light. I wish someone told me that before I bought the Metas. I would have gladly taken the off-brand. I wouldn't have to worry about covering the light.
I'm not sure. I have seen no evidence of that, and I've kind of been looking around. So yeah, I'm curious about that. If someone has evidence of this, if they could please post a link somewhere, that would be great. So what's coming up for us?
Well, I have Francisco Alvarez, the starting catcher for now of the New York Mets. That will be on Saturday. I have learned.
Are you going to find a reason to skip that?
Well, I actually might have a reason to skip that. Star's great grandmother died, but at this point there is still no timeline or news about when the service is. So I already put it out into the universe. I told her, I said, just say I got a photo op Saturday morning. So perhaps I'll be coming funeral suited, which I mean, given the way some of the Mets seasons have gone, I mean, it might be apropos to be funeral suited for something involving the Mets. I'm going to try my damnedest to get there, but I think I am not getting a combo because I'm a little disenchanted now. I got a bunch of those custom prints I designed. And like the one guy now is going to be a White Sox. Like, what the hell was the point of the autograph? I should have just done the photo op. So this guy's done a little bit more where I should probably do the autograph, but I haven't designed it yet. I need it by Saturday, so time is running out. I think I'm just going to stall and not do anything, and I'll be good, and I won't get it. So no autograph for me. I'm learning from my mistakes, perhaps. After that, I have 2 chains at Barnes & Noble Union Square. Very excited about that. Then you and I both will be at Monster Mania. We have perhaps our matching prints, perhaps our matching cards. Maybe we can get matching shoes. Keep it going. Steel City we're in for, but I wish they would add a couple more. Like you said, they got to start cooking with gas. The last couple things they've added and announced, it's like, I'm still kind of hurt about the Bob's Burger thing.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, and then last but not least, we have the big event. Still no news on our table front. We are awaiting. They don't even have their schedule yet for March, so it's not even a question of legality at this point. If they're already booked, it doesn't matter. So we're still working on it, but I mean, with each passing day, I think my optimism probably lessens. But fingers crossed, positive vibes. We'll see what happens.
Yep. And then honestly, if we're unable to have the Vanity Project, that big event, then it will be kind of a gigantic "we told you so," which is not fun, by the way, because we don't make any money from "we told you so." But I guess we make something more than money, whether we told you so.
Although I mean, every sale we've had on eBay these last couple of weeks is kind of money from the "I told you so," because they're paying more than they would have paid on markedoutcollectibles.com when they were in pre-order form. Now they're paying NXT prices. And boy, oh boy, can I not wait to raise them to Raw and SmackDown prices. That'll be even better.
Again, we have enough of these things to wallpaper a house. So.
A performance center.
Performance Center even. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. So we have our 2 signings, which are both be taking place at Big Event. Our private signing with Rick Martel. So to update you on that, we do have a small number of Big Rubber guys in stock to get signed by him if that's what you want to do. His other figures are pretty rare and expensive. Hell, even his Big Rubber guy is not the cheapest thing. So they're kind of hard to come by now. So, but we do have a couple, right? We already sold a couple. We have a couple.
We sold a couple. Have a couple left. Our order came in, and as much as I love these Big Rubber guys, they have the tendency sometimes where the bubbles come damaged in the mail. So I took each and every one that we purchased out of the box, in part to make that awesome hype video I put up on Instagram with the model theme song, but also to make sure that the bubbles were in fact mint, and they are. Everything we have is in great shape, and listen, if they weren't damaged getting to us, we will pack them with the utmost care, getting them to you. And I mean, anything can happen, but I mean, we always pack our stuff well. So you have a rare chance to get a sold out Martel. But there was one spot that had some left, and when we got done with them, they didn't anymore. So if you want a Big Rubber guy, even unsigned, you got to pay extra prices. So you might as well get it signed and, have it extra nice.
And we also have that private signing with Don the Rock Morocco as well. So, of course, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com to make your orders. We're at the end of March, so a couple weeks left. How'd we do? I'm just looking right now at the bank of questions we still have for the show. It's just gigantic, and we keep getting good ones. So thank you guys for doing that, and it's really enjoyable to see them and talk about it. Even our debate about which questions to answer each week is funny for me anyway.
And if one of your questions hasn't been picked yet, or several of your questions haven't been picked yet, please don't think it's like any sort of an insult that they suck, because I mean, honestly, I think if it's really sucked, we'd still run it and just be like, wow, that sucked. Everything we have in this bank is good, but there's certain things where like I'll read it and be like, ooh, that's going to tie into this episode topic we're going to probably do in a couple weeks, or that'll connect with this. And like in my head, I kind of see different episodes where it's more timely.
I just randomly. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's true. It is true. Yes,
Martine
this week
sent us one.
This list is very long. I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
now.
Martine sent us one that I've been sitting on for a while, because to me, this is an entire
entire episode. I know what you're looking at. Yep.
And I love it. I'm super excited to do it. I'm gonna come up with the greatest list of old school hip hop names you've ever seen. But again, that's not something you do in 20 minutes. So that is a question I'm like salivating to do. But with con season picking up, I don't know when we're gonna get a chance to do it. But it will get done. I promise you.
All right, so I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
See you next week.